Dave.
So we have been okay. You remember the other day when we were doing our 500th episode? We were prepping for it, right?
Yes.
Where'd you go? You're just leaving the camera.
I forgot to turn my light on. I'm listening.
You're just like, yeah.
Why do I look so dark?
You look great, buddy. You look great. Okay. So when we were preparing for our 500th episode, we went out to the sim place, to Denver Racing Social, to check it out, kind of get eyes on the space. And you remember that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you brought me into a very segmented portion of your chaos for the day. See, now here's the thing. This is very interesting because this does not stand out to you because this is your normal. This completely stands out to me because it's divergent from everything I do on a daily basis. Okay? Remember,
you picked me up.
No, you took an Uber to my work.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Right? And we had this whole last 10 minutes of Goodfellas thing that I was involved in, right? See, like, you don't even notice, right?
Honestly, that was the most relaxing day that month.
Right. But for me, it was unadulterated chaos and logistics. Now, Ian, I would like to say the tables have fucking turned because you are walking in my world now. Welcome to my house, my goddamn emotional roller coaster that you've been riding shotgun on for the last, I don't know, 6 days?
Yeah, a couple of weeks for sure. Yeah.
Let's track it out. So, bullet points on the roller coaster. Low, couldn't get the Lemons truck started. Okay. High, I'll do the lows, you do the highs.
You got the Lemons car started.
Right. Yes.
You figured out it was the ECU. It was the ECU. The ECU was bad somehow.
Right. Yes. Correct. Was that followed directly by a low? I think that we might have had another high. I think we had RMDE.
Well, and I think one thing it's not really a low, but it's a dip. Okay. I kind of mentioned it to you a little bit on the show but I think that, at least I do this, like when something's going badly and it might mean that something's not going to happen, I start to kind of like have less anxiety about the future thing because I'm like, well, it's already fucked. Right. So like,
oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But then once the ECU gets fixed, now a new checklist appears.
Right.
With a shortened timeline.
Yes,
right?
you are correct.
That's not nothing, right? That's a stressor as well. It's not a low, but there's something going on there, right?
No, it's a work effort that needs to happen. You're completely right. Like all of these kinds of like things that were ambiguous, kind of like pieces on the board. Now, like a few of them have been clustered together, and it's like you got to deal with this shit, right?
Yeah.
Because of A, now B is happening, right?
Right. And you just unlocked another to-do list, which is a pretty good metaphor for racing in general. Of like, when anything goes well, that just means you got more shit to do.
Exactly. Right. So I went and picked you up in Boulder. You stayed the night at my house. We worked through some tech stuff for the Lemons car, right? And that's like some of the stuff on the to-do that was added. Yep. Also, like we were realizing we weren't going to be able to do everything that we wanted to tech-wise because the timeline was so compressed. So a little bit of a bummer and having to take that workload. Now the high. Tell folks about the high, Ian.
Well, then we went to RMDE, which is the press event for the Rocky Mountain Automotive Press here in Denver. They do annually. I couldn't go last year. You went solo last year. We shot some video, which hopefully you'll be seeing some of that soon. And we got to drive a McLaren.
We got to drive a bunch of stuff, and our lives were changed because we got to drive the freaking McLaren. So, so high, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Followed. And we had this very like compressed timeline too, because we were, so I was at your house on Wednesday helping you with tech stuff. I was holding things and
no, you were helping
plugging things in. And then we And then we went to RMDE the next day. We're there all day. And then Friday, we were going to meet up at the track for a test and tune day with the Lemons car 1 week before tech inspection for the Lemons race.
Correct.
Right. And at this point, the car, what's the status of the car Friday morning? The status of the car is the engine is in and running.
Yes. Chad had been driving it the week prior.
Like doing break-in miles, adding brakes, running the engine.
Yeah, we did the brake bias adjustment. I have some cool video of that. Like we did the thing where you do slow-mo, 240 frames a second, and you can see when each the front axle or the rear axle locks and kind of dial it from there. That's pretty rad, right?
So cool, yeah.
Yeah. And so on top of that, no sleep. Dude, like stringing together multiple days of anywhere from 4 to 6-ish hours of sleep for me. Not good, right? Yeah. And so I'm at the track at 7 a.m. It takes an hour and 10 minutes to get there. It's National Donut Day. I stop by the donut shop and get a dozen donuts for the track workers, right? Why not? Give one to the guy at the gate. That the same guy's always there. He's super nice. I love talking to him, right? He told me a crazy story about how one day he was driving down the road and there was just a freaking alpaca laying in the street on the way to his work for the morning at the track because there's nothing around there. An alpaca had gotten loose and just decided to nap on the warm road as the sun was coming up. And he was like just over a hill and he narrowly hit an alpaca on the way to work one morning. Who gets to say that in their sentences, right?
That's true. There are alpaca farms on that road.
Right? Yeah. So at the track early, Chad shows up. We unload the car. He's very generously donated his time to. He's the one with the most capable truck on the team to tow the giant trailer that Chris got, and had the car in the trailer. Brought it out. We were debating whether or not to drive the car to the event. Okay. Joel strongly encouraged us to not do it because one of the worst things you can do when you break in an engine is to just have it kind of sit at the same RPM for a long time. Right. But yeah, Chad had done maybe 75, 100-ish miles, something like that. Yeah, 50 to 100, I think, something like that. And we wanted to get about 500 miles in before changing the oil out, changing the break-in oil out, right?
Right.
I'm working on tech in the morning. Chad and I, you had kid stuff. You had your chaos going on in the morning. I can't imagine trying to get kids together and out of the house to get you to the track by 7:30 in the morning. No.
Well, and we were packing for a camping trip, so I came.
That's right.
Fully loaded for camping with just me and the kids as well. So the car was like fully loaded with camping gear on top of me having to so I had to get the kids, breakfast and dressed and all of that, but also because my wife's out of town. So also packed for a full weekend of camping, which as anyone knows that's the worst. Packing for camping fucking sucks.
Yes.
But yeah, so I showed up late,
but that's
also
okay.
with donuts.
Yes. Also with donuts.
If you're late, you bring donuts. That's what happens.
Yeah. My job before this one, that was always the rule. If you are late, you have to stop for some kind of food for the group. You just have to, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
And it's excused, but yeah. So, but before you got there, everything went to hell. So low. I was doing tech stuff. Chad was getting ready to go out for the first session. We idled the car up to temperature, had shut it off. While I was continuing to work on tech stuff, turned it back on. Everything seemed okay. Chad lined up to go out, and I saw him on the front straight, just kind of puttering, doing 30 miles an hour on the front, or on the, what is it? The back straight.
The back straight. The long
straight.
Back straight, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, maybe he's being very easy on it. And he wasn't. When he came, so I walked down towards where you can get towards the pit entry. I saw him come in. He was going very slow. No, the car was not on fire. There was no smoke or steam or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at each other and like, you and I have had this is that thing. Like you have the psychic communication, like you talk to each other, just eye contact, instantaneous, what you're doing next directly after that. I saw in his eyes, something's wrong. And he heard me within his head, me saying, I will meet you back at the truck. And so he pulled in and he was like, there's no power. Like, I don't know what's going on. He kept thinking that like he was, instead of second gear, he was accidentally in fourth, something like that. And he checked multiple times shifting and it wasn't. It was properly in like second gear. He just had no power. And it threw a P0300 check engine code, a bunch of other codes. Random misfire is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, we had to pack it up because we think we blew the engine. We think the engine is catastrophically, something is not right.
Yeah, something is eating itself in there for sure. Because I drove it off the trailer and into your garage.
Yeah.
And even in the time from backing it out of the trailer, by the time I was doing the last back in to your garage, I couldn't get revs up high enough to not stall it over the ramp.
Right.
My foot was to the floor and it wouldn't rev.
Right.
So it's real bad. And there's the oil filter looks very fabulous and sparkly, which is not good.
No.
And it's all aluminum, right?
Yeah, it is largely aluminum. The car has an aluminum block. We changed the oil at the track before deciding to come home. We pulled the spark plugs and we found oil on plug 3 and some on plug 4, most of it on 3. So something is going on. Oil's getting past the rings or down in through the head. There were 2 pretty sizable, I don't know, maybe like 0.5 millimeter by 1 centimeter shavings in the oil filter. Yeah, slivers, like what you'd see like chips if you're machining something,
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen something like that in an oil filter before. And it makes me think of bore score, like that. Like
so we're machining the inside of the engine with the engine. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like we're thinking of that like there's a piston ring that's stuck, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's really compromising the engine. We didn't run a compression test. We didn't do anything like that yet. I actually have a boroscope showing up at my house tomorrow morning, and I'm going to scope it. It's not as good as the one that PETA has, but it's like like Amazon had some dumb sale on it, and it was like $60. So it's like, I'll get this. It'll be good enough. And we'll see what's going on. But we met as a group collectively, and we decided to not push forward to try to make this race happen, even though we have a spare engine that we have not been able to do any work on. That's another thing on the list, right? That now that this is done, I had the engine at my house. I spent so much time trying to get the car started that I didn't have any time to do what I had planned on doing, which was tear down the spare engine, make sure, do a leak down and compression, and make sure the head was all good. Didn't have any time to do that. So we have a junkyard engine sitting in my garage. Have no idea what its condition is, other than Peter did scope it, and it does seem to turn over pretty smoothly. But yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So we won't be at Lemons this weekend.
No. And I texted our buddy, our new listener, Ian, because here, dude, everybody, you got to give it to new listener Ian, because he bought a Cowabunga Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt.
Oh, right.
He got spectator tickets. He was ready to effing go to see us and cheer us on. And I'm so freaking bummed we won't be there, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things like coming out of this that like I coming away from it, I realized I had some kind of like an unhealthy lack of boundaries about how much time I was spending on the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to have to rebalance some things. I genuinely want to. And I cannot spend the kind of time that I did on the car before. And like nobody asked me to I wasn't under obligation. We all spent a lot of time on it. I had PTO. And so I was trying to like take some extra days off of work to make it happen, taking a couple days off of work here and there to make sure that I still have like a weekend with my wife, or some date days and stuff. And it was just too much. It was just too much. And so not only are we not racing, but I feel like I missed out on some stuff. Like already I haven't seen the grandkids as much as I want this spring. They've been out of school for a little bit, like, I don't know. I'm kind of bummed about how much time I sunk into it. And everybody's bummed about the money and the time that they sunk into it too.
Right.
And I'm having a really hard time dealing with it. I am. And when you were at my house, you're like, this is racing, like it takes time. Like, I'm not fucking buying that, man. I'm having a real hard time buying it.
I think it is. I think there's more. I think it's easier because I think what's rough I've been thinking about this a lot. And I think that, you legitimately feel the way you do because like you did put in a lot of time and now it probably feels like you don't have much to show for it. And I think that is that's supposed to be part of what makes Lemons and like team racing a little bit different is that you're supposed to, the team part of it is like supposed to be a big thing of it, right? Where like, because so often in racing, you do end up with nothing to show for it, even when it all goes well, the best case scenario is you have a big list of things to do for the next race, right?
Right.
Like you finish and you have all this stuff to do. And so like, I think racing needs to be a thing where what you get out of it isn't necessarily contingent on the result. Does that make sense? Like,
I understand, like the journey, right?
Yeah.
I get that, and I'm a journey person.
And if you're doing it yourself, then that is harder, right? Like, and I think like you said, you very generously put in a lot of time and effort, money on your own, and it's a bottomless pit, so it's going to accept all of it, right? Like racing is a bottomless pit. You just keep throwing money and time at it.
If you don't have boundaries around it, though, so like it's not a fault. I'm not upset that the bottomless pit exists. I have a problem that I let myself get into it.
Right.
That's the core of the issue.
Yeah. So I think you just got to figure out, regardless of what the result is, what does the journey look like that is going to be fulfilling to you, right? Like, is it spending time with other people? Is it just like building a cool thing, even if it's by yourself, or what, right? Like you got to figure out like what you're getting out of it, and you can't count on it going well, right? Because it's probably more likely than not going to go well.
Yeah.
I mean, my hit to miss ratio with racing is not great, right? Like I've spent more time on the back of a tow truck than I care to admit.
Yeah. I get it. But I think that like this is where things like life happens, because I think that I'm the one on the team with the least complicated schedule. I don't have kids, right? I work from home. I have, my Lyft, stuff like that. Great, right? And yes, this is truly a team building thing, right? And I did not do this. I did not do the car by myself. Like everyone has legitimately put in work on the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of a Lemons team versus the reality of the Lemons team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like already we've talked about karting next weekend, right? So the idea is there. Is the reality of it as a team, like, has that happened? Has anything been moved forward to make that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And like navigating these things where like, do we want to do this or not? You know, is this truly happening? Is it not? You know, and having aligned movement to manifest things beyond ideas is the thing that I feel like is really tough for not just our team, for any team.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Getting 6 adults in the same place at the same time with the same ideas.
That all happen to have money at the same time, that have time at the same time, all of that stuff, right? Because there's no single factor, you know, and no factor weighs more than the other, right? It's like we all have our stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I went into this knowing that like, I'm not going to pull all-nighters, right? I'm not swapping an engine the night before a race. I'm not doing that. Right. But now like I personally have kind of like moved even further back in needing to work very hard to establish boundaries for what I will do in a team setting. Yeah. This is why like this goes back to like our competitive conversation that we had last week or the week before. This is why I always played tennis, right? Like I managed my own shit on that side of the court, right? And I don't want to have a solo racing team. I don't want that. I love you guys. I love everybody on the team, right? But there's so much more complicated stuff that we all have to deal with if this is going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And it's tough because this is where like ideas are fun. Making things into reality, logistics and planning, none of that is fun. Like nobody really likes that. And it like Leslie Knope on Parks and Recreation likes that. And she's a fictional character. There's not a lot of Leslie Knopes out there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, give me kind of like, give me where you're at, like mentally on things. Like, what's the Ian temp?
I mean, I'm bummed. This is like we were joking at High Plains that like I've been rolling the same track day credit forward for like 3 years. Like 3 years. Like I just keep having to cancel track days for kids get sick or the car is broken or you know something comes up or the car is broken you know, which is normally the case.
There's going to be more layers of pavement, like more repaving on the track surface than you have done track days.
Yeah. But also I don't know. I have as we talked about, like I don't have a ton of time available to give, but I also like if there's something I want to do, I am okay pulling all-nighters and doing all that stuff. I'm just not very good at the stuff that needs to get done, which is my problem. Like I feel like I'm not. If I felt like I was a capable mechanic, I'd be like, "Hey, Dave, can I stay up all night in your garage and just put the engine in?" Right? Like,
but I have had that thought. But
I would. The engine would be in the trunk, and you'd just come into like a floor full of beer cans.
Just a slightly drunk Ian. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
I think that like pulling an all-nighter is a good idea, but then I just see all the stuff that happens after that. I see the shitty day at work. I see time away from my wife. I like there are consequences to these decisions, you know? And I have a real hard time dealing with them. Like, do you square that or do you think like you're just more in the moment and like you'll deal with the stuff that like comes after that as it comes? Like,
I have a less healthy relationship with all that stuff than you do, and I just think I'll sleep when I'm dead. I don't know. I'm an idiot.
No, I don't think you're an idiot.
that's usually how I deal with it. I don't know. I just like, it's the thing that needs to happen. And so I try to do my best to make it happen, and I can't always, and I'm sometimes less helpful than I wish I was, but you know, I'll show up with donuts and coffee.
Yeah. And I think that and I appreciate that about you, because I think that I really admire your push for ideas in that space. Right. And I think that that's one reason that we work so well doing a podcast, is that like, you can be idea and I'm like, well, no,
Right.
and we can figure stuff out from there. Right. Like we figure stuff out, and we have a good relationship, like back and forth like that, and and we support each other, like we want to make stuff happen together,
And I think you feel comfortable enough with me to tell me when something's too big a lift, right? So like that's also part of what you were talking about with boundaries and stuff, because that's a thing, right? And I sometimes say that same thing, right? Like, oh, I don't think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
So being able to say that to each other, I think, is a really important part of being in a team. I haven't been around the whole group enough to like understand that the dynamic, the whole team dynamic yet. But it seems like everybody's, willing to pitch in. It's hard because we're physically spread out over a pretty good distance. Right. And it's like, 7 adults or 8 adults with shit to do.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's the same story for every racing team. And I do think that like the thesis of this team is a good one, right? Of like, let's use a reliable platform with wide availability of parts, and let's not make it into a super fast thing. Like let's use stock things wherever possible. I think that that it went badly doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
Right. I firmly agree with you. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to see some wild shit next week, on the Lemons results, that are going to be like somebody raced, a fucking Edsel around with, that have been sitting in a field for 75 years. They threw a cage in it and that was it.
Right.
And it might go well for them.
Right.
It's such a crapshoot, man.
It is. And the best idea does not yield the best results.
No.
Right.
Often not.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, with the more, and obviously the more like variables you put into things, the wilder it gets. But I mean, best laid plans, right? You can't just take the outcome and be like, well, this all was a waste. I don't think that you've wasted your time at all. I think that I think that you have been instrumental in building a team where none existed before, right? Like this is a new, you and Joel, I think, really,
and Chris,
and Chris, and like as the core of it, and that's not nothing, even if we don't turn a lap.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. It's tough, man.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, even my old Lemons team, like as dysfunctional as some of those relationships were, like there was the last race that we didn't do, because we had a similar sort of experience, right, on the last race where we worked like crazy and then didn't make it. And then that was the end. It just kind of petered out after that, which I hope is not what happens here. Like I spent hours and hours and hours and hours in that garage, like doing, cleaning the engine and making a wiring diagram with Joe over Zoom,
right.
Where he had like, that was insane. And it was like great experience, honestly. Like it was fun. And I really liked doing all of that. And it was a real bummer when I didn't get to race. But I also don't feel like it was a it was a waste or it was bad, because it's an experience that I'm able to take forward into this team, and
True.
and all this other stuff. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah. I think that I learned a lot from seeing the other Lemons team that I helped with, and I think it was kind of like, no shade on any of those folks, but it was like, like everybody does stuff their own way, but it was like dating the person before like you found your partner, like or like dating somebody, like I don't know what I want, but I'm not cool with that. Right. Like I'm not cool with pulling all nighters. I'm not cool with an engine swap the night before a race. Like,
yeah,
I'm just not,
Yeah. And some of that was just pure, like, this is what our schedules, the only hours that, like, the Swiss cheese thing, right? Where you're like, where the holes all line up, right? Like Swiss cheese security idea. And then where all the holes line up, where all the holes lined up for us was the hours of like 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. were like the only hours that we all had in common free. And it was just how it worked. But no, it was, there were other interpersonal issues on that team, which didn't have anything to do with the idea of like, hey, let's get an S10 and put a big engine in it. Like, that's not a bad idea.
No, that's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. And when it worked, it was great.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. That fucking roller coaster, man. That roller coaster, man. Like, welcome to my world, Ian.
I know.
Yeah. I will say, for anybody who has like wondered if they have attention deficit disorder, ADHD, if you have like looked into any of that stuff in the past, I will tell you that like my personal journey with like medication and stuff like that to treat my ADHD, one benefit that no one ever told me about, that I think is probably the biggest benefit that I have personally seen and the people around me, has been through medication for it. I have been told, and I feel like, so like there's two internal and external evidence here, that I feel like I am regulating my emotions in a much better manner. Not to say like I don't feel down or I don't feel, super happy. I think that I just seem to have a slightly better emotional regulation, like tool set, like combined with therapy and stuff like that. So if anyone has ever like thought about like whether or not they want to look into something like that or anything like that, I can say that it is beneficial. I feel like it's really helping me during this difficult time. And I know it's going to help me through others as well. So
yeah, and I agree. I would agree with that. I mean, I think I've seen a change in you even in the time that I've known you, for sure.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. I changed for the better, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
No, you've gone downhill, Seb. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. Did we lose power? We may have lost power, Ian.
Oh, it looks like it.
Oh, it came back.
The ghost in your house agrees with you as well.
This is why I have all my internet shit on a UPS, so that if there's a little power blip, the Wi-Fi router, the cable modem, all that stuff stays on.
That's amazing. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, every now and then I has one. So, but yeah, it's a journey. And
well, I hope what happens is that you take a beat, reassess, come up with like, hey, I'm available for these number of hours.
Yeah.
And we get ready for September.
Yep. Absolutely. Because I think that there's stuff that I'm going to have a good time working on for sure. Right. And I'm going to have a good time working on stuff with you and the guys. Very much looking forward to that, and in the meantime, I've just been doing some retail therapy.
There you go.
Yeah. I buy tools, Ian. I buy tools when I get sad.
Is there a tool recommendation?
Ian, I have 2 tool recommendations.
This is such a great segue. Let's do it.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to keep a theme going with like my tool recommendations, right? I think like there's the like things you probably shouldn't buy or like more on the expensive side, and then things that like are cheap and I 100% recommend. Okay.
Mhm.
What do you want first? Do you want like the frivolous purchase or the practical purchase?
Let's go practical, then frivolous. We'll go
Okay.
in ascending order of fun.
Okay. Yes. Well, I should say this, I think that this one, I don't know if I would call it a tool, but it absolutely is fun because it's adorable. So every now and then, like, it's affordable, it's useful, and it's adorable. There's been this trend in like tools where they've realized that they can sell cute shit to everyone.
That's great. Okay.
Right? Hang on. Let me get something. This isn't it, but let me get it.
Dave is retrieving a cute thing. He is grabbing his backpack. He is putting on his headphones. He is grinning and smiling now that he can hear me again.
See, emotional roller coaster. Even thinking about buying tools makes me feel better. Okay, so my wife and I were at Home Depot like a year ago, and at the register they had like one of those plastic, like, you know, kind of gumball, fireball looking containers of little baby Milwaukee tape measures. Ian, look at this little guy. Yeah, right. Come on. Okay.
You know what that needs? Some googly eyes.
It does. Yes. Yes. Yep. And this is what we need your son to do when the car is built. We need him to googly eye everything he can.
My kid has gone ham on the googly eyes in the last few months. Like they got like a big bag of them from the art supply store. Yeah. And I gotta say, they're really good with their selection of what they put googly eyes on. It's pretty hilarious.
I mean, it upped your AeroPress game.
The AeroPress, I still have them on there, and it is hilarious every time I open the cover. And I just see the Aero, like,
right? Yeah,
dorky ass AeroPress looking out at me. It's really funny.
So get a bag of googly eyes. But another adorable thing is like Lowe's sells like little like pencil containers, but they look like the 5-gallon buckets, the blue buckets. Come on. Right? Or like the little baby toolboxes you can get at Harbor Freight or whatever. This, Ian, you know, like those like HDX, like 27-gallon storage totes. They're clear, they're black, they have the yellow top.
Yep.
Okay. Home Depot has these adorable little versions.
Yep.
For $2.50 each.
I know. I need to get a bunch of those for the office.
Yeah. Right? That's the practical pick right there, right? Look at this. It's just a bunch of remote control car tires and shit.
Yep.
Right?
Also needs googly eyes.
It does.
And you can put the googly eyes in there.
Yes. There you go. Okay. Yeah. So that's my pick, is like the little baby storage bins.
Okay.
Right? They're $2.50 a piece. Yeah. Treat yourself.
So what's your frivolous one?
Oh boy. Ian, I bought a wrench for about $60, a single wrench, ratchet wrench thing. Okay. And it's not that great, but I really, really like it. And I want to find a way to use it on everything. Okay. It is from Vim.
So not a torque wrench, just a wrench.
A ratcheting wrench.
Okay.
A double-ended ratcheting wrench from Vim Tools. This is the Vim HBR 1046. Okay. So it's a little bit longer than a pencil, right? Like maybe a foot long here. It is a 1/4-inch hex and I don't know what size this is on the other side, a bigger hex, but it has a 3/8 adapter on one side and a 1/4-inch socket adapter on the other. You can put like standard hex things in the hex end. Yeah. Right? It is directional, or like you can change the direction of the ratcheting instead of just having to flip it over. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
My webcam's freaking out. Yeah. Focus on me, you dingus. And the head flexes and locks into position.
Oh, that's pretty great.
Okay. This is the thing that will get you into super weird areas, right? But like
You tighten up my appendix with that thing.
Right? Yeah. Bend over. Here, I'll get you. But you don't want to use it for high torque situations. This is like to get something after you've broken it free, or to get something on in a super weird position. The sockets always stay on the thing, or they pull this hex bit out. You know, they don't do it's not a great tool. Don't buy this. I want to use it all the time. I've had it sitting on my desk because this is like my binky. I just feel better like having it and fidgeting with it.
It's like your cat that you're petting.
Yes. Yeah. I'm the villain in Inspector Gadget, and this is my white cat. Yeah. So don't buy the Vim double-ended. That's the thing. This is what really got me. That hex for the 3/4 size.
Yeah.
10 millimeter hex.
Same.
Right. That was the thing that I was like, oh yeah, like I'm going to get this tool. Because it, like, if it was just some weird adapter that had a 3/8 socket adapter, sure, I wouldn't get it. But they had it's a 10 millimeter.
It's a 10 mil. So what you need to get that in like behind glass and like break in case of emergency with like the little hammer.
Yes. Right. Yeah. This guy. I mean, look at it. It's badass, right?
It is great. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. But I think idea versus
was this a Harbor Freight? Was this an Amazon?
Amazon, yeah. Vim makes some good shit, man. So, even though this is like, you know, for lighter work, I mean, the quality's fantastic, yeah. And it has this is one of my favorite things about ratchets, that like if you can find it, they'll have a thumb wheel on the back of it, so you can, you know, loosen stuff up easily instead of having to take the thing off. Yeah. So. Yeah, and it has the thumb wheel on both sides, you know, and here, does this come through?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So anyway, but buy the little Home Depot things, man. Buy these guys. Look.
To put all of your frivolous purchases into.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, right? That's what you need. Adorable little Home Depot things.
Love it.
Oh God, I'm knocking stuff over again. Okay.
Dave, I would like to do a license plate game. I would like to deliver to you a license plate game.
Yes, Ian, please treat me to a license plate game.
Okay.
This
one, this is a real vibe shift from the previous 40 minutes of this show.
Okay.
We're gonna slam it right into gear.
Okay.
This one is called "No One Should Be This Horny at the DMV."
Okay. All right. Wow.
Real jarring vibe shift, but we're doing it.
No one should be this horny at the DMV, Ian.
Yep. That's what we're doing.
For audio listeners, the lip lick that Ian just did subconsciously. Oof. Oh boy. Oh boy. What are you fucking cooking up, buddy? Okay.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Let me make sure that people can see it. Oh God. Oh my God. Okay. At the top, we have a blue Subaru Outback wagon. We have in the middle, we have a Chevy. That's
Astro.
Chevy Astro van. Okay. Okay. I thought Ford did the Astro. I'm wrong.
Aerostar.
Ford did the Aerostar. That's it. Okay. Come on, Severna. Get your minivan cannon straight. And then we have a Ford Explorer on the bottom here, like a dark gray or maybe a dirty black. Okay. Yep. Oh God. And then the plates just coming in hot. One says BingBus, BNGBUS. Dear Lord.
Now, for any listeners who are unfamiliar with that particular phrase, BingBus, what I encourage you to do is log into your work machine.
Don't do any of this.
And just spin up your Microsoft Teams or maybe a Slack channel
Oh, there
with
you
all
go.
your colleagues. You just be like, hey, Google's not working for me. What is BingBus? And then Google it and then just click on the first link. Do all of that.
Yep. Make sure to turn like autoplay on your browser on, all that stuff.
Speakers way up high.
Yes,
Make sure
volume to high. Yeah.
Or just go in the conference room and do this and connect, to the sound system, because it's going to be an experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, just tee all that up, then shut your laptop lid real quick.
Yeah.
Go to the most populated work area you can find.
Mm-hmm.
Just break room at 12:08.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pop that bad boy open. See what happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just leave the browser tab open. Don't look at it. Leave the browser tab open and then share your screen in like a Teams meeting or something like that. Or on a Zoom call. Share your screen and the whole screen, and just leave that tab just like hanging out, and don't ever address it.
Yes. Yes. I love it when people catch like people sharing on online meetings and looking at the other tabs. I mean, I always look at the other tabs that people have, the other bookmarks that they have,
the applications that are running. Because one time we saw a lady at work who had a mouse mover running.
Nice.
Nice. Another time, this is a long time ago. This is like early days of screen sharing.
Okay.
I realized that my friend who sat right next to me had his Outlook. I know what you're talking about. Yes. Still on.
The notifications in the system tray, they would pop up. Yeah, with the subject and first bit of the email.
Yeah, and he was presenting, and he was stuck presenting for like a long time. And so I figured out like the way that it displayed, I could get like a sentence in between the subject and the first line. And so I basically just started doing like a free form short story with the notifications that were popping up. And I was dying laughing. He was like over there, he was like throwing stuff at me over the cubicle wall. Like, you gotta stop. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, because it is. Yeah. Well done, Ian.
Thank you. Anyway, BingBus.
Oh, God. And then another plate, Bones 8, BONES 8. Either they're enthusiasts of season 8 of the TV show or it means something else. Okay. And then Shaggin, SHAGG1N.
Yeah.
Shaggin.
It could be a carpet wholesaler.
It's not. It's a gross person. That's it. Like we were saying before the show, that's improv, right? Yeah. No but.
No.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Premise grounded. Okay. Ian, my gut tells me instantly. I mean, I'm going to look for some context clues. They have a spare tire on the Subaru Outback wagon, spare tire up on the metal roof rack on the roof tray.
This car's, wearing a rubber. So it's well protected.
It has protection. It has some aftermarket wheels. I'm going to put this one as Shaggin straight away. Shaggin because it's a wagon. Shaggin wagon.
Shaggin wagon. Okay.
All right. So now we have the minivan. We have the Astro minivan here. Got a lot of stickers on the bumper. At first I thought blurry eyes. It was paint peeling, but it is not. I don't know what this sticker is here. I can't tell what any of these are, but are those all like waifu stickers? They look like anime.
I think they might be. I also couldn't really tell what they were.
Yeah.
And I took this picture a long time ago, so I don't remember now.
Sure. Yeah. It looks like at least you can tell like there's some like, I don't know, some girls like profile pictures, like cartoon. Right. And then we have the Ford Explorer here. Really nothing to go on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got nothing. It just needs a wash. It's got a Michigan plate.
Yeah.
Your father sent it in. Wait, whose car is this? This is a I don't know what car that is. Interesting. Okay. All right. So, BingBus and Bones 8. I mean, I think I'm just putting BingBus on the minivan, just like the worst plate on the creepiest vehicle. And then I want to put Bones 8 on the
worst plate on the creepiest vehicle. Okay.
Yeah. And then Bones 8, maybe they're a competitive dominoes player. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Bones 8. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So,
well, Dave, the solution is in the Dave Don't Look folder.
Okay.
And I dare say that while looking at this was maybe a low for you, maybe looking at the solution would be a little bit of a high.
Oh, God, I got him. I got him all right.
You got him all right.
Is that good, though?
I think that's great, Dave.
If I'm in the same mindset.
At your age, you're doing great.
If I'm in the mindset, yeah, you suddenly got into like, who was that comedian back in the day? Kevin Meaney. Remember that guy? Oh man, yeah, he's old school comic. Yeah, yeah, like early Dom Irera kind of days. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Wow. Good for you.
Oh man,
I think this was just a case of game recognized game, is what I think this was.
How do you submit such a horny plate like BingBus and you slide that paperwork across the DMV countertop?
It's easy because it's covered in lube, first of all.
And your creep mustache is just on full display.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. How do you make eye contact with a DMV person after that, man?
Well, I want to know what other possible reading there could be. I mean, BingBus isn't any better.
Or BongBus, you know.
Maybe they're Microsoft employees and this is the BingBus.
This was Microsoft's failed ride share.
Right. the BingBus.
You could only use Windows Mobile, right? They somehow tried to get it to work. They made Windows Mobile CarPlay. You could only use Bing Maps.
People keep trying to have sex in our ride shares. We can't figure out why.
There's just screens showing the MSN homepage.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Ballmer is your driver.
Yeah.
Let's go to the airport!
Honestly, I would ride on that. I would ride on a Ballmer-driven bus. Yeah.
The BingBus.
Yeah, the BingBus. Oh, my gosh. BingBus. Yeah. Maybe that's the title of the episode is BingBus. Oh, my God. I love the idea of the BingBus. Don't know if I'm going to like the reality of it, but love the idea. I'm in at this point.
Well, and I mean, half the people are mistyping a URL that they were trying to go to and are going to be sorely disappointed.
You are correct.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how this got through. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that they got this through.
I think anything gets through now, man. Just
about. Think so?
Oh, yeah, because there was a lawsuit. Right? For the fuck gas plate.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so I think like a lot of municipalities just don't want to mess with the lawsuit. So they're just letting stuff slide, like, because people are claiming that this is their freedom of speech. Okay. Right. Yeah. This is what the founding fathers intended for you to drive around in a BingBus Chevy Astro van. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go.
I mean, good luck to you, citizen.
God damn it. I don't think you should Molotov many vehicles, but oh God.
May your air mattress be easy to clean.
Oh God.
And the suspension hold up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the suspension and any pending restraining orders hold up. Yes. Wow. Yeah. What if you're at work, you're traveling to a customer site, okay? You've been working with this customer for like 2 years, You
Yep.
finally go to their
I know
site.
where you're
Like,
going. Mhm.
awesome. Like, okay, we're gonna snag dinner. We're gonna knock out like this Visio for like how we're gonna implement this. Your coworker's like, I can drive. Like, I know exactly where it is. You walk up to the BingBus.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you know what this is? So this is, I mean, this is a Seinfeld episode basically, because it's the whole plot, which was like half of the Seinfeld episodes, where Jerry's dating somebody, and then he finds out one really specific piece of information about them, and
Yes.
that ruins the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't know. I've definitely been like, ooh, something is off here. Something is weird. I don't know. But I have no reason to doubt this person. And then I see their car, and it all locks into place.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we've probably both had that experience.
Mm-hmm. And people
but
have thought that about us. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh no, there's been a few people who have gotten into my car, my red car here in Denver, and who, you know, I've only ever seen them on the East Coast sort of thing, and then they come out here, and I'm like, well, let's go to dinner, and I'll pick them up, and they'll be like, nope, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This checks out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the ground, and everything makes more sense now.
Yes, it was the CAPTCHA, like the one last thing they needed to click before they got through to the BingBus website.
Right.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Click all the pictures with a hipster in it, and then like, oh, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. I gotta get the BingBus off of my screen here. This is
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do that from your work.
I took
computer,
all of those
everybody.
pictures.
You did. You saw BingBus. Did you see the driver?
I did not.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you that they were in clown makeup, but I thought that would be too far.
Oh boy, that would be rough, dude.
No, I did not see the driver of that. I didn't see any of these drivers.
Okay. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been sitting on Bones 8 for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Okay.
Bones 7 when I took the picture. I don't know, man. It's late.
It is. It is. Okay. Ian,
Mhm.
I need your advice. Okay.
Okay.
Because as I'm dealing with all this, like as the whole team is dealing with all this lemon stuff and our car not running and blah, blah, blah. Yesterday was Sunday. I have what I call Sunday service. It's not church. Okay. Like it's just like a bunch of to-dos that I like to knock out once a week. Right.
Okay.
Like I put gas in the cars. I wash the cars if they're dirty. I vacuum them out. Like that kind of stuff. Right. Like that's my Sunday services, you know? Like I clean out the dishwasher filter, you know, just stuff that just feels good to stay on top of. Right. And I was driving around and I need your advice because I enjoyed the time because the weather was like that perfect, just like kind of springy, summery air, right? Like it wasn't going to rain, but it had like rained the day before a little bit. And like I could drive the Fiat with the windows down. And so I need a daytime windows down, good weather, cool air, like that perfect like homeostasis. You're not getting too cold, you're not getting too hot. I need a daytime album and I need a nighttime album to fit
and like
both of
checking
those.
things off the list.
Sure, yeah.
Checking
like
things off the list.
Purposeful, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's what I'm looking for, man. And I thought about you. I thought about you in this time because I was like, this is a time where I know Ian would have like 7 or 8 solid album recommendations for like a moment like this.
So on days like that, here's what I want. I want tight indie pop,
Okay.
like tight guitar based indie pop, short songs.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I'm checking things off a list.
Yep.
But it needs to be fun because I'm driving with the windows down.
Yeah.
And then at night, I need like let's take it down. Let's go out. You know, kind of low and slow.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go with a Spoon record
Okay.
for driving around.
Okay. For the daytime album.
For the daytime album.
Okay.
Let's go. Is it going to be Gimme Fiction or Kill the Moonlight? Let's go Gimme Fiction from 2005.
Okay.
It's got Turn My Camera On, which I think you will absolutely love that song.
Okay.
It is super funky and cool.
Okay.
And it's short songs. They're just straight ahead indie pop that's just like extremely well executed. Right?
Okay.
That's their thing. So I feel like if you're checking things off a list, it's a similar vibe.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go jazz for the nighttime record.
Okay.
I'm going to go Miles Davis. What's the soundtrack?
Porgy and Bess?
No, it's the French movie soundtrack. And I think it's just called Jazz Track. Is that what it's called? Jazz Track? Yes, Jazz Track. Okay. Yes, that's it right there. That Discogs link right there.
Sure.
That's the one. So this was a soundtrack that he made for like this French movie, this obscure French movie. And this was like before Kind of Blue. So he was like in between I think the best Miles Davis things are always like when he's in between the genres that he's invented. And this is sort of in that time period where he's like in between his bop phase and his cool jazz phase.
Okay.
And it is just the greatest like nightcap album. Like the last guest has left. You've got like a couple of glasses to put away, and you're going to be able to sit down with like a drink in a quiet house for a second before you go to bed. Right.
Okay.
That's what this record is.
Okay. Gotcha. Maybe you're driving home and your spouse is falling asleep in the passenger seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever your nightcap looks like.
Yeah.
Of the like, my social battery is done.
Yeah.
I need to like take a second. I need to take a beat before I go to bed. That's what this is.
Okay. I appreciate you rolling with some prompted album of the weeks, but I had like that moment, right? And like maybe I wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't for all the like BS we've been putting up with the lemon stuff. But I noticed that moment, right? And I was like, I want to talk to Ian about this, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you get that moment every now and then in your car, right? Like windows down, and like you don't get too hot, you don't get too cold. Yeah, it just works out, right? Yeah, no, I've got like a few like go-to like first day with the windows fully down driving records. Yeah. And Spoon has a bunch of them, like, because it's just like that's the vibe, right? Nice. They're from Austin. It's warm weather music. Okay. It's what you want. Yeah. Nice, dude. Nice. Well, I'll put links to both in the YouTube description, and hopefully you will have good weather to drive around to both of these albums as well. Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Right. So there you go. So we did it, Dave. We did a car show. Yeah. And we have a bunch of stuff that we're going to be talking about from our time with the Rocky Mountain driving experience with the RMAP event. We have things we're going to be talking about Stellantis. We're going to be talking about Subaru. We're going to talk about Lexus. We're going to talk about Ian's new EV that he loves. Mm-hmm. Maybe even two EVs that Ian loves, but one I'm thinking of. Us obviously driving a freaking McLaren, buddy. Yep. And then some stuff about like maybe who was there and who wasn't overall. So yeah. Yep. Everybody, thank you. We love you. Goodbye.